Hello. Hello, everyone. Oh, wait. Let me see how many people get in here. Listen, we have to be nice. We have to be nice. I'm actually excited. Lord. You guys, you should follow me on TikTok. I have gone viral 3 times this week. Oh my gosh. You should follow me on TikTok. It's Real Yoni. Or no, it's Real Talk with Yoni. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. This is actually a dress. It's really cute. I like this dress. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Is this the brand? Okay, let me go ahead and start my intro and then we're going to dive right on in. Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it. Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of. Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you. Alrighty. So, before we get started, just give me a sec. Something is wrong with my connection already. Okay. I don't know if it's gotten better or not. But okay. Thank you for the super chat. When it comes to spirituality, you guys, I'm always going to recommend that you go with what feels natural to you, like what you feel called to. I'm never going to tell you exactly what to do because when it comes to spirituality, it's all about using your intuition and being guided with your inner voice and your intuition. It's not, that's the thing, like spirituality is not religion. So it's being in the flow and it's going with the flow, but also using your intuition, your inner guidance, and listening to your inner voice. And it's also about using your discernment. So that's the best advice that I could give you. But if you're being called or led to something, then that's truly for you. Everyone's spiritual journey is different. So it's not like religion. Okay. I am going to change this back because I like that better. Okay, I feel like this better. Okay. So I mean, one of my favorite books, I'll give you a favorite book of mine. It is The Alchemist. If you know, you know. That's my favorite. It like really represents my life. I have alchemized every bad situation in my life. And I do mean every bad situation in my life. not only have I alchemized it, I have made money. Okay. So, you know, I know it's not like the thing to do, but whenever bad things happen to me, I'm making something with that. Like either it's gonna motivate me to go to the gym and I'm gonna lose some weight, or I'm gonna get fit, or I'm gonna do something with it. I'm not gonna just pity myself to death. So I'm just one of those people, and I recommend the alchemy. I recommend that you use that. It's my favorite. Okay. Okay, Natalie, I'm gonna put you in timeout. She asked me a question. Okay, let's get into it. So, if you were not aware, Abby, who is Nick Cannon's, I don't want to call her a baby mama, even though I named the title of this video a baby mama. She is Nick Cannon's, you know what? She is Nick Cannon's baby mama. And she decided to go on Shan Booty's podcast YouTube channel to basically tell her truth. And you guys, because Shan wants us to be nice, and because I respect Shan, I'm not saying I don't respect Abby, but because Shan is the one that brought this content to us, I'm gonna be nice. So, and also, whenever I react to these content creators and their content, you got to go show them some love. Okay, you either need to go like the video, comment under the video, subscribe to their channel, support them in some type of way. Check out her Lovers and Friends podcast. Do something, help me out here, because when I be reacting to these people content, you know, they put in a lot of work. So I want them to feel like they are benefiting from me reacting to the content that they worked very hard for. Okay. So make sure after this video, you at least go like it, thumbs it up, do something. Okay. Help me help you. So she went on Shan Booty's YouTube channel and her podcast, and she basically just opened up about her relationship with Nick and was wanting to set the record straight. So I'm going to go ahead and react to this today. Okay. Let's start.
I could understand everybody's distaste and disagreements in the way that I have chosen to live my life. And I find it funny too when everyone's always coming and be like, he's playing you, he's playing. I'm like, technically speaking, we all know about each other. It's just, how much do you want to know? How much are you choosing to know? And I trust the connection that I have with Nick.
Lovers and friends. I'ma take you on a trip, baby. I don't pretend. I said, lovers and friends. I'ma hold you down to the end. I said,
hi there, lovers and friends, and welcome. I just touched the plant. It looked like I looked up to the heavens. For those of you who can see video, because guess what? We're bringing video to the podcast. And what podcast is this? This is Lovers and Friends, hosted by Shan Boudram. I am a sexologist with a psychology educational background, as well as a journalistic educational background. And I think that's so important to note, to understand where the vantage of the captain of this ship comes from. Anyhow, that to be said, we've really been hyper-focused on my journey to becoming a mom to a second baby, my second daughter. And now I think we can get back on track. And one of the things that I've wanted to do, but again, just being so sidetracked with giving birth, I really wanted to address the Jazzy episode. And for those of you who are not familiar, I can't imagine you listen to this podcast and don't know this clip, but if you don't, here it is.
What does a submissive woman do for her man?
Everything.
What does that mean?
You know, like packing his bag, unpacking his bag, just making sure all the things that he wants. And I pretty much read his mind.
Now, in my 10 plus years as a public facing sex and relationship educator who makes content for mass consumption, never have I ever had a piece of my work be viewed by so many people and used as a source of public commentary in the way that that 1 minute and 30-second clip was. And then furthermore, of course, the popularization of the episode overall, easily the most popular episode in Lovers and Friends, and probably will be for quite some time. And I'm proud of that in some ways, but I also felt really heavy during the time that this clip was performing, for lack of a better term, because I found a lot of the responses disheartening. And at first I found them disheartening, but later upon reflection, I wondered if there was something heartwarming about it. And that's what this episode is really all about. And let me explain what I mean by that. What I saw through the Jazzy episode were two predominant camps. There was mostly camp one that was comprised of straight men that were championing this and using Jazzy's words as a way to knock down other women who don't subscribe to her lifestyle. And then what I saw on the flip side from camp two was mostly straight women who were knocking down Jazzy's credibility in order to justify why this kind of lifestyle isn't actually palatable and isn't actually positive. I saw people unearth old clips of Jazzy or pick apart the interview and find certain parts and piece them together to try to create a case for why, even though Jazzy was saying, this is how I happily exist, this is how I love, people were like, no, you're not happy. No, this is not love. And what you're going through is something so much more dark and heinous than you are saying out loud, or maybe you're even aware of.
Okay, I just got to stop her right there. Shan, when it comes to these interviews, majority of your demographic are women. And when we listen to these interviews, a lot of us have been in some type of abusive relationship, whether it's emotional, financial, physical, or mental. So when it comes to these interviews, if we are not out here growing from our experiences, we would not be able to spot certain things within these interviews that would be considered concerning for a lot of us. Now, for me, it's coming from a compassionate place of concern. And I do feel like when it comes to these interviews that they do need a course of correction, because a lot of girls nowadays turn to social media and they look at these public relationships and they put them on a pedestal. When it comes to these interviews, I'm viewing it and I want to know, how are women truly benefiting from these relationship dynamics with being submissive, with being in a polygamy style relationship? I am looking to see how these women are truly benefiting from the relationship. And when you do an interview or you conduct an interview and the whole interview is about the man, and we never hear anything about her needs, her wants, or anything like that, even when her needs and her wants always revert back to the man, how is she stable? Like, I think that's the question. Like, where does her stability come in from that? How how can you pour from an empty cup? And I think that's what a lot of women have issue with. It's like tonight, when it comes to this interview, I want to know how this relationship functions. I want to know how it's structured. I want to know, are the women being taken care of, or is Nick Cannon out here just being loose and wild and careless? But we will see. We will see. But I mean, you got to cut us some slack, because it's like a lot of us have been in relationships, including yourself, based off of your history, that were very traumatizing. And sometimes when we are in these traumatizing type of relationships, when we're in the thick of it, we're in denial a lot of times. So I'm not saying that that's the case for her, but I think that's where the concern comes in. So my question, Shan, is, how do women benefit from these relationship dynamics? And I'm telling you, one thing that I know about women, when women are being taken care of and appreciated, we really not gonna have nothing to say. We just like, oh, okay, well, he taking care of her, da, da, da. And it's really an equal exchange. Like, it's about things being reciprocated. And I don't, whenever I listen to these interviews, I don't see how things are being reciprocated. But we will see. We will see, because I have not watched all the way through this with this interview.
And neither camp was one that I was interested in joining, but I was definitely interested in the perspective of, camp number 2, who were so quick to try to discredit and disbelieve a woman who said, this is what I choose for myself. In many cases, people who were mad at me for not digging deeper and calling her out on her BS, to say, even though I just met you today and I don't have any further lens into your life, based on what you're saying, as an interviewer, I am going to stop you in your tracks and tell you that your version of truth is off base and here's what you're actually going through. I say that tongue in cheek, but yet many people thought that I could have done a better job of trying to illuminate for her why what she was explaining as positive was actually quite the opposite. And I thought about the term believe women, which became popularized a couple of years ago during the Brett Kavanaugh public job interview. I don't know what you call it in America. When a Supreme Court is trying to become a Supreme Court person, they have to go through that public job interview. And believe women was a phrase that was utilized to defend women who are accusing oftentimes men of heinous and aggressive acts, often sexual acts, that we should believe them first and foremost, rather than looking for holes in their story or looking for motivation as to why they would make it up. We just get on board and we believe them because we trust women and we love women. I thought to myself, does that not exist in the reverse? If a woman is advocating for a lifestyle that is non-traditional, or she is sharing a truth that is not in line with a truth that would be palatable to us, why do we not believe them? So I thought about it a little bit more. And then Abby De La Rosa, who is the guest on this episode, reached out to me. And Abby De La Rosa is many things, but most famously, in the public eye, one of Nick Cannon's baby mamas. And Abby said, I want to tell my story on your podcast. And that was a real cause for pause moment for me. Having just come out of that Jazzy situation, I thought to myself, do I want to create a space or a podcast where I invite people with divisive lifestyles and I put them up to be judged and criticized? And do I want to create a space where I'm only highlighting really unbelievable stories? And I don't say unbelievable in a negative way. You can have a piece of salmon that is unbelievable because you just have never had a flavor like that. And similarly, when somebody has a lifestyle choice that you just don't have a frame of reference for, there's something unbelievable about that. There's something fantastic about that. And I don't think there's another way to describe what's happening over in Nick Cannon's world.
31-year-old Abby De La Rosa is also rumored to be expecting Nick's child. Oh yeah, it's a lot to unpack. So here's a closer look at Nick's complicated family tree. The 41-year-old has fathered 8 children with 5 different women. There are 2 more that we know of on the way.
So I booked a call with Abby. My producer booked a call with Abby. And we decided to go ahead the interview because Abby was grounded and level-headed and honest. And I thought it was a good exercise for us to lean in to ask ourselves, is this believable? Can we get on board with this, believing this? And if we can't, why? And if we can, why? And these aren't just questions to reflect on in regards to this particular podcast episode. They're questions to reflect on in regards to our relationships with, frankly, women overall. And I say women because this is traditionally a group of people who we look at as being protective of their romantic relationships, sometimes to a fault, sometimes to their own detriment. And furthermore, we look at women as people who need protecting, even if they're telling you, I'm completely fine. So I wanted us to chew on this together. What does it mean to believe women? And are there limitations to that phrase that we think we have a responsibility to override? So to kick this conversation off, I asked all of you, when your friends tell you that they are happy in a romantic relationship, do you really believe them?
No, I do believe them. I'll believe you if I could see you thriving as a person, because a happy relationship to me means that you're a happy person. I don't believe them. I believe that people are pretty secretive about their relationship. If they have a history of being in what I consider to be toxic relationships, then I have a harder time believing that they're actually in a happy relationship. I think people tend to look at their partners and their relationship through hopeful and rose-colored glasses. I like to take them for what it is that they say until I have another reason to not believe. 100.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it really depends. Like every situation is going to be different. So I can't really say yes or no. But I will say that when it comes to relationships, things have to align for me to truly believe that you are in a healthy relationship. So if I feel like you're being well supported, if I feel like your needs are being taken care of, then I would believe you if you came out to me or you came to me and said, I'm happy in my relationship because it shows you're well supported, you're being taken care of, your kids are being taken care of, you're growing, you're maturing, you're developing more over time. That shows me that you're truly in a healthy relationship. So I think a lot of women don't, because another part of this is a lot of our friends come to us with their problems and we become their therapist, and we know more than we should know when it comes to relationships at times. And so I mean, we'll make that judgment call because they're coming to us. And then this is what I can't stand. I don't know about y'all, but if you're coming to me about the same situation over and over and over and over again, I mean, that gets annoying. So if you keep having repeated issues within your relationship, then it's easy to say, like, no, you're not in a healthy relationship. You're in a toxic relationship. And then, y'all, you also have the friend that's in denial about being in a toxic relationship. And I'm the type of person where I don't get in the middle of people in their relationship. I don't. Not even when they involve me and they want my opinion. I just don't. It's not my place and it's not my business. But if you're asking me in private, I'm going to tell you like the truth. Don't come to me asking me for my opinion on something and then get mad when I tell you how I really feel. Don't do it. I may hurt your feelings.
Because it is none of my business. I will always have that thought in the back of my mind of, okay, but is she being transparent with me? I don't really believe when friends just tell me that they're happy in a relationship, because they're going to say the most sugar-coated part, but I will believe it if I see them happy. So honestly, you're just telling me like, oh my God, I love him, he's amazing. What the fuck does that mean? Like, I'm not really going to believe that.
And the apprehension to believe our friends blindly makes sense when we consider the fact that a lot of us don't tell our friends the truth. And to confirm that, I asked all of you, how honest are you about your romantic relationships with your friends?
I'm about 75% honest, kind of like 1%, 40%, 65 to 70%, 80%, 50%. I would only share if we had an argument. I share nothing. I'm like honest when I break up.
All right, let's bring this exercise full circle. Now, I want you to imagine that you have a friend, a bubbly.
Y'all, I don't tell my friends nothing. Nada. I don't tell my mama nothing. Nada. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So y'all already know how I am, you guys. You guys, keep it private. That includes when it comes to social media. And don't be out here dealing with no man that is so messy that he has multiple lovers and he throws you to the wolves when it comes to social media in the public eye. Deal with a man that respects you and your mental health and doesn't throw you to the wolves. Okay, and it's called the blogs, just trolls on social media. Deal with a man that moves with respect. And when I say respect, he respects you when he's out here moving. I don't care if you're in a non-traditional relationship or not. That's the thing. When it comes to non-traditional relationships, it just don't seem women are truly respected for real. It seems like when it comes to monogamous style relationships, there's more respect for women, in my opinion. There's more boundaries, there's more structure. So that's just my opinion, because it just seems like when you give these men an inch, they take a mile. And I think Abby, when she agreed to this situation, the circle, the relationship has always been open. Nothing wrong with that. But in the beginning, the circle was open, but damn, the circle done got so damn big. It's like, I mean, are you trying to create a community out here, Nick? Are you trying to create a village out here in these streets? I mean, come on. If Nick was in a small city or a small town, he done ran through half the women in town. So for me, when it comes to these non-traditional style relationships, I've entertained it, but I'm like, Where's the structure? Where's the boundaries? Where do women win? Where are women truly benefiting from these relationship dynamics? That's my question. I just need that question answered. But I'm telling you, you give these men an inch, they gonna start to ice skate. That's exactly what they gonna do.
A passionate, cool, outgoing friend, whom is also a mother of twins, whom is now currently pregnant. And the father of her children, all three of her children, is a for them, this feels like home. This feels like love. Do you believe her? And before you answer that question, I feel like we all owe it to ourselves to hear more of the story from the actual individual. Do you know what I think is actually pretty good, Abby? I don't know this story very well.
Okay.
So even when you reached out to come on the podcast, I was like, I'm fascinated because I don't know the story. I know the headlines.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I could either research and then come in here and ask you all the pointed questions.
Yes.
Or I could just be like, what's going on over there?
Yes.
So, what's going on over there?
Either way, it's going to all sound a little out of this world, but nonetheless,
it's your world.
It's my world.
So it's
baby.
in the world.
It's in the world. It's my world.
You think you know, but you have no idea.
This is the dark
Of Abby De La Rosa.
This is it. This is it.
Okay. Take me back.
Well, I really.
What y'all mean it cut off, y'all? Listen, don't blame it on me. It's Mercury retrograde. It ain't me. Do I need to rewind? Y'all really didn't miss nothing yet. I just want to clarify while I'm waiting on y'all to respond. Nick has 7 kids, 4 women. Okay, it's fine. We're good. Okay. See, I knew it. I knew I wasn't tripping. I'm like, am I tripping? Okay, let's continue.
Number one, I really admire all the work that you do and the way you live your life very openly and honestly. And going back to open relationships, before I had met Nick, who's my children's father, I was in a full monogamous relationship. 5 years. I devoted myself. I submitted myself.
And then obviously monogamy was all that you thought for yourself.
All that I thought for myself at that time, like going home and having the same routine, the same pattern. And it wasn't until that relationship came to an end and I thought, okay, I'm going to live my life a little bit more freely, which I don't exactly know what direction that's going to take me, but I'm going to do that. And Nick ended up being one of the few men that I was dating at the time. One connection, I should speak, because they weren't relationships, they're all connections. One connection brought a deep emotional vibe. One brought this nurturing vibe. One brought this spontaneous vibe, and Nick brought a freeing vibe. And I feel like when you feel free in any situation, it's transformative and it allows you space to really just still focus on yourself, but still enjoy what could come from a connection with the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever your preference is. And I found myself, when he leaned in a little bit more, I found myself more drawn to that freeing experience as opposed to, okay, maybe another monogamous relationship isn't really the best answer for me. Let me just.
Also, correction, you guys, Nick Cannon has 9 kids. He has 9. I just Googled it. Y'all, you know what's sad? Google shady. I typed in how many kids and it automatically Nick Cannon's name popped right on up. I didn't even have to type in his first name, y'all. Okay, let me stop. Because I think a lot of people are curious. I think a lot of people are freaking curious. He has 9 kids. Now, listen, when we step into this space, right, let's respect the fact that this woman does not want to be in a non-traditional, or she doesn't want to be in a traditional style relationship. She does not. Okay, so when you are stepping into this space, you are allowing this woman to live a non-traditional style relationship. We are here to understand this relationship dynamic because from looking from just like social media standpoint, it looks like a circus. You know, it looks like a mess. You know what I mean? I mean, you got girls fighting, you got girls getting flowers on Valentine's Day, and everybody's bouquet is looking the same, and it came from the same man. And then you got social media influencers, you got girls with large followings, because Nick likes to deal with, you know, women that have like a really big social media following. Their fans are fighting with this girl's fans, and girl, it's a mess. So from the outside looking in, it looks like a circus. So we are here to try to understand the madness, okay? Because from social media, from him being on these podcasts and stuff like that, it just looks a mess. Just being honest, it just looks a mess. So please respect the fact that she does not want to be in a traditional style relationship based off of what she's saying. She wants to be free. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's continue.
Experience what this avenue could take me.
It sounds a lot like my story. I was in a monogamous relationship for a long time, on and off, long distance, lived together, tried every configuration to try to make it work. It just wasn't working. And then towards the end of that relationship, I remember suggesting opening it up to my partner because it was so difficult and miserable, which I think is never the best place to embark on an open relationship.
Yes.
From a space of like, I can't stand your fucking ass. So let me see if I can invite somebody else to lighten this shit up.
Yes.
But I left that relationship, which was obviously the better choice. And then I was just dating. And I was dating many people at one time and really enjoying that space. I love how you described, like, somebody gave you intellectual energy and somebody gave you freeing energy and somebody who had great sexual chemistry.
Yes.
But it sounds like at that point, then you then narrowed in on Nick.
Yes. Who then became my children's father. That I've always known the type of lifestyle he had lived. Just not the capacity of the life of how big it really was. I think that I was in media and in music. So just seeing him around and knowing, I mean, he does interview after interview where he says, I can't do the standard monogamous relationship. I've been married once. I don't, see that again. And I take what people say into heart. So when I met him and our connection was very freeing and it was very fun and open, I took that exactly for what it is. So I didn't ask no questions. I didn't say, so how many people exactly, how many women exactly are you sleeping with?
You were loosely already familiar.
Because
even that, this is how little I've looked into the story. I didn't know that he was actively into an open or polyamorous style lifestyle.
Yes.
I thought that he just happened to get all these women pregnant, like one monogamous connection at a time.
Yeah.
But instead, he had already chosen this lifestyle for himself.
Yes. So I can't speak on nobody else, but what I will say for myself is I was very self-aware and well aware of what I was getting involved in.
And you weren't getting involved like, well, I'm gonna be the one.
Now, you guys, this woman was not aware that this man, because she's one of the baby mamas that, like, she's on the older end of the spectrum. Okay. This is me being real. I don't think she thought that this man was going to be out here spreading his seed at the capacity, using her language, that he is doing it at. She thought that this man was just trying to be out here and be free sexually. I don't think she thought that this man was going to be out here planting all of these seeds with all of these women. See, when she got into this, it wasn't that messy, but now it's starting to get messy and messier. Because she keeps talking about at the capacity, or at this extent. I'm just saying, y'all, I'm picking up on her words. I'm just saying, I'm not reaching. I'm just saying. That's what she said.
Oh, no, as a matter of fact, no, that's probably the complete opposite. I think that's where him and I kind of had a disagreement at one point, because I said, we both had like a sit down conversation, and I remember telling him, this is just sex, right? Like, this is not going anywhere else than what we are experiencing now. And he's like, how do you say that? Like, how are you able to say that? And I'm like, you do you, and I'm going to do me. And then we'll get together in those moments, enjoy those moments, and we separate. We go our separate ways. So I never went into this thinking, I'm going to change the game. So at that time, when Nick and I were really getting involved with each other, I was like, this is great. I get to self-help, self-care, self-heal, but still get a connection and still be inspired and motivated at the same time. At a woman of 30 years old, now I'm going to be 32.
That's bananas. This is all over a 2-year span.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense because people assume naturally, I think when women are in open dynamics and consensual non-monogamy, that they were coerced somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Or that their partner essentially brainwashed them.
Yes.
But I always feel so good about my decision because I chose it first.
Yes.
And then I found a partner who was like, oh, this makes the perfect sense for us to engage in this together.
Yes.
So is Nick your primary partner?
Nick is my primary partner. Yes. During this pregnancy, I'm monogamous by choice. I'm monogamous by choice, and that's very important for me to state. But if a connection comes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be sex, and I think that's what everybody always thinks is, oh my God, you guys are having one big orgy. And it's like, actually, no, it's actually quite the opposite, and it's beautiful. And it could be a form of intimacy that's not sexual. It could be deep conversations or, these fun, random, spontaneous dates or trips. And I think that people are so focused on what it is that they're afraid of.
No, listen, y'all. Lord Jesus, please help me with this because, oh my gosh. Okay. You guys, she's trying to make it seem like the majority of us cannot understand this relationship dynamic. Like, girl, we get it. You're in a non-traditional style relationship and it's a mess. Not all non-traditional style relationships are a mess. But when you were dealing with a man that's messy, it makes things complicated. Okay, so y'all, I'm taking what she's saying. She said in the beginning of this interview that she didn't want to be monogamous anymore. But now she's saying that Nick Cannon, this is what manipulation is. Nick Cannon is her primary partner, but she's monogamous, but he's not. And the reason that it has to be this way is because she know damn well, I don't like bullshitters. I'm sorry, I don't. She know damn well she can't go out here and slob on some other man's knob while he over here funding her life. She know that. She knows she gonna get cut off. Because Future be out here doing the same thing. When Future can't sleep with you, when he can't sleep with you and he can't get access to you whenever he want, he don't take care of his kids. So, sis, it really sounding like y'all in a similar situation. Like, what you mean in the beginning, it was freeing. See, this is where you messed up with the situation. You should have never got pregnant. This was all fun until kids got involved. This was all cool until kids got involved. This was all freeing and I can go with the flow and I can just be out here doing whatever I want to do when kids are not involved. But now that kids are involved, it has made it very messy. How are you monogamous, but you said you don't believe in monogamy, but now you do, and he's your primary partner, and you can't have intimate relations with any other man outside of Nick? That don't make sense to me, y'all. That don't make sense to me. So just keep it all the way real. Nick can do what he want to do. He can come and go. He can do it as he please. He can use you at his disposal because he's funding your life. And this is not what you truly signed up for. You just signed up for a good time. You signed up for a moment in your life where you don't want to be tied down to not one person, but you still tied down to one person. I don't see how women are benefiting. I see how Nick benefits. Nick benefits 1,000%. He getting sex. He getting kids. He probably even getting a home cooked meal. These women are getting, I guess, money and kids. And then one thing that I've learned about moms, that's a full-time job. So like he can come and go as he please. And then he just dumps whatever the day-to-day needs of a child is on you every day, every week. This is crazy.
And that's,
well, in truth, they're afraid of what's happening to Nick. They're afraid of it turning into multiple children.
It's so true. And I don't blame anybody though, because it looks out of this world. It looks out of the norm. So naturally, yes, I could understand everybody's distaste and disagreements in the way that I have chosen to live my life. And I find it funny too when everyone's always coming and being like, he's playing you, he's playing. I'm like, technically speaking, we all know about each other. It's just, how much do you want to know? How much are you choosing to know? And I find empowerment in my truth and in my reality and in the way I have formulated my life to be. So whenever I get those comments like, he's playing you, I'm like you said, is he though? Like,
Right.
I'm living.
This is my concern. Concern. What about sexual health? Listen, y'all, and to any woman that's out here, nothing wrong with you wanting to be in a non-traditional relationship. But when you start sharing your body with a man, it's your responsibility to know your partner and his partners. And he should know your partners. This is why STD rates are increasing, y'all. You should not be sharing your body with no man and you talking about how much do you want to know. I want to know it all. First of all, we're in a non-traditional style relationship, so he's not cheating. What is there to hide? And see, this is what I be talking about, y'all. Like it sounds like manipulation. It sounds like it. Because we're on the outside. And sometimes when you're in the thick of a relationship, logic is not always where it needs to be. Because you being swooned on by a man. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, I can understand. But that don't make no sense to me. If you are in a non-traditional style relationship, you should know, out of respect for your sexual health and your partners, y'all should be communicating about partners. This is crazy, y'all. And then another thing to the young women that are out here, and maybe you haven't started having sex yet. A man can be a carrier for bacteria, infections when it comes to your lady parts. Okay. And so they may not have any symptoms at all. Nick may not have any symptoms at all, but he could be a carrier. So it doesn't matter if Nick is getting his blood work. It doesn't matter if Nick is going and getting checked out and everything like that. Because a lot of times men can be carriers of bacteria and infections and not have any side effects, no symptoms at all. But as soon as he scratched you, all hell breaks loose. So I hope she goes into detail about the sexual health within this relationship dynamic, the structure of this relationship dynamic, the boundaries about this relationship dynamic. I don't want to hear about monogamy. I don't care. I really want to learn more about this relationship style. And so far, it doesn't seem structured. It doesn't. It seems like somebody gonna get hurt or somebody gonna catch something or something, you know? And then I also want to know, how are the women and children being taken care of emotionally and mentally? I want to hear her talk about this type of stuff. Like, I don't know. It's like she's trying to convince us about this is working. I'm happy, but we get it. You happy? This is working for you, but how is it working? That's what I want to know. How is this relationship working? How are your kids being taken care of? How are you being taken care of and supported mentally and emotionally? These are the questions that I have as a woman because I'm looking at this with compassion. So I want to know, like, how are you as a woman being taken care of in this non-traditional style relationship? That's been my question since the beginning of this video.
Well, there's a big difference between people who life is happening to them and people who are happening to life.
Yes.
And it sounds like you've been happening to life. You've made decisions and then chosen a life to suit that. So was he your boyfriend? Did you guys ever come to terms with those labels or?
No labels were ever set. I mean, even now, no labels are ever set. I think it's safe to say I like to say we're family, but I want to say it wasn't until after my sons were born that he became my primary partner. But life partner, I feel like God, that scares me a little bit. Like the forever part of it scares me a little bit. And I like to live in my moment right now and in my present and what's going on now, and not think 5 years from now and 20 years from now. I'm enjoying what's happening.
Well, in truth and fairness, you only met this person 2 years ago.
We were always crossing paths for years, but the last 2 years has where it's really been.
You guys, no, y'all, no, this needs course correction immediately. Girl, you got kids now. You do need to be thinking 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Shan said that she's pregnant, right? One thing that I have learned about these women, whenever they start having kids with a man, they want all of their kids to have the same father. So you planned ahead enough to ensure that you have children all by the same man, but you're not planning 5-10 years ahead about this relationship dynamic. I told you I don't like bullshitters. Don't. This is why I don't live in LA. I don't live in Hollywood. Sorry, this is why. This is exactly why. You can plan ahead to ensure that all your kids have the same daddy, but you can't plan ahead 5 to 10 years from now regarding this relationship dynamic. I just see a train and I see it come into a crash, because it's just, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. Like, it's not, I don't hear the structure in this relationship to where this situation doesn't lead to heartbreak, or worse, her having like a panic attack. Like, I don't know. Like, it seems like it's just a lot to take on. Like the public, then the kids, and then like you got to deal with the trolls on Instagram. You got to deal with people like me with my opinion. You got to deal with all of this stuff over one man. And it just seems like it's creating so much chaos in your life.
Put into this family box that, oh shit, we're really doing this, and this is real life, and this is really happening for us.
So then leading up to that then, so at the time, he's just another person you're dating. Mm-hmm. You get pregnant, oops, you get pregnant planned, you get pregnant what?
So I actually, the way that whole situation happened was nothing but the man above, my higher power, because I had sepsis for 5 days. I was in the intensive care unit, had these tests taken. Me and Nick were still like back and forth, but he had started to lean in a lot heavier at that time. I had all these tests done, and the doctor was like, okay, you're not able to have kids. You have like this going on, that going on.
First of all, can doctors stop saying that? Because I can't tell you how many fucking stories where people who got an army of babies, they popped out are like, well, I was told I couldn't have kids.
And that's where I feel like that's where it all happened for me. Like, is where when we reunited and reconnected after my whole hospital stay, and when I got better after we linked up, and I remember us having a conversation, and I was like, listen, we're good on whatever it is that we're doing. There's nothing more to this than just sex. And then we had our first pregnancy. Now that's where I had a miscarriage. And then Nick was like, well, let's try again. And
at this time, how many kids did he have?
4.
He had 4.
Yes, 4. So I was open to the idea of having another pregnancy or attempting to get pregnant again. And it happened for us. And I didn't know I was going to have twins, clearly. So when they said, oh, you're having twins, I was like, okay, that just shot me from 0 to 1,000 real quick. And yeah.
So this is a plan. Your twins were planned pregnancy.
Yes.
So then to clarify, you go to the doctor, they say that you can't get pregnant again. After that, you get more relaxed about protection.
Yes.
What about safe sex in terms of the fact that you guys have multiple partners?
So we've always spoken about safe sex and knowing our status and knowing what's going on with our bodies. We're both very health conscious when it comes to that. And Nick, he has his own ways of living, and he has lupus. So he already is very conscious about getting his blood drawn and taking care of his sexual health, mental health, all types of health up and down the spectrum. And that only inspired me. So we didn't really put too much emphasis because we were both very well aware of what our status was. And that went to anybody else who I happened to be sexually involved with, So
you weren't sexually monogamous at that time?
Yes, I was. When I got pregnant, yes, I was.
But I mean, like, at the time that you guys stopped using protection because you're like, we don't need it for birth control, were you guys also sexually monogamous?
I could say I was.
You guys, y'all? Put me in a straight jacket, y'all. Put me in a straight jacket. I thought the whole point and purpose of this relationship dynamic was to not be monogamous. I'm so confused. Put me in a straight jacket. Girl, this sound like pure manipulation. He done sold her this dream and she fell for it. I'm like, so he can do what he want to do, which goes back to what I was saying earlier. Be real about it. Like, you're getting a check, and that's why he can do what he want to do and you can't. The only thing that you can do is get pregnant, take care of his kids, and not have to work. Just say that. I don't understand. Just say that, because that is basically what it is. I'm like, how she keep talking about how she monogamous, but I thought the whole purpose of this relationship style was for you to be free. You did the monogamy thing. You were submissive. You don't think you being submissive right now to Nick and all his wants and needs while he's out here running around doing what he want to do when he want to do it, and then he not telling you everything. This is dangerous, y'all. And yes, this needs course correction. If you're mad, be mad. Be mad. Be pissed off. This is not safe. And I'm not going to promote this type of stuff on my platform. I don't care. You can sell it to me non-traditional. But you, as a woman, you have to protect yourself sexually. You have to protect your children. That's your job. And then you dealing with a man and you know he out here moving weird. It's your job to protect yourself and your children. And I don't feel like she doing that. I'm not buying what she's selling, y'all. I'm sorry. No disrespect to her at all as a woman. But I wouldn't promote this like this is something you should do or something you should try. I thought the whole purpose of this relationship was for her to be free. That's what she said. She said she did the 5-year monogamous relationship. She was submissive. It didn't work out. So why are you back in the same type of relationship? You think that you're in a non-traditional relationship just because this man can do what he want to do? And you can have conversations with men. Hell, I'm single. I can have conversations with men on the side and date who I want to. Y'all, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. She can't even go out here and date somebody else. And she knows that. And I mean sexually. She knows she can't do that. And that's why when she said during the time that she got pregnant, she had to clear it up. Because you know Nick gonna watch this interview. She had to clear it up and say, oh no, I was monogamous when I got pregnant as well. So when were you ever in this non-traditional style relationship? So basically, this man gets to cheat and you gonna stick beside him. I mean, y'all, can put me in a straight jacket, you guys, because it don't make sense to me. It don't. I know I'm not the only one listening to this, and it don't make sense.
I can't. That's all I'm speaking for is myself.
That's all you can do. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So then you have this period of time where you get pregnant. What goes through your mind? I mean, obviously you were told this wasn't possible. You're now pregnant with somebody who has 4 kids, and you're living in your truth and in your joy. And this could be an interruption to this newfound freedom that you had just found for yourself. How did you feel?
I think I didn't feel what I probably should have felt because I didn't understand the capacity of what I was really about to embark on. I just like any other woman, when you get pregnant, you think it's about you. You think it's going to be a beautiful journey and everyone's going to congratulate you and period. That's the story. But I didn't really understand the capacity of it. And then it wasn't
Now I'm going to use her terminology again. She said she didn't understand the capacity of what she was getting herself into. If that does not sound like regret, I don't know what does. And listen, she can keep blaming the public, but your man, sis, the one that you're in a monogamous style relationship with that can go around doing what he want to do, he keeps throwing you under the bus. Like when he made those comments about women in PV or in BV, you didn't think women were going to react to that? And then I don't understand why this is another thing to anybody out here. Why do y'all have to make y'all's relationship public? We didn't need to know. We don't need to know. The public didn't need to know, but you know what? Nick, he has this thing where he want to take photo shoots with every woman that he impregnates. And then he probably not even telling you. I bet they be finding out about the new babies just like how we do. The internet, Instagram, social media, another photo shoot. So again, she didn't know what she was getting herself into. And so again, Nick is not protecting these women. Like, I feel like if you're truly in a relationship with a man, he's not protecting these women. And that's why I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with men being in relationships. I don't care if it's traditional or non-traditional. It is their job to protect you emotionally, mentally, and physically. And when they don't do that job, what's the point? What's the purpose of the relationship? And part of protecting you is, okay, if he decides to live a non-traditional style lifestyle, he shouldn't be throwing you to the wolves by moving carelessly out here publicly when he knows people are going to react to what he's doing. It's not that people just don't disagree with the lifestyle. We honestly, it ain't even the lifestyle. It's not even the relationship that people are getting at. It's how he's moving that is in question. It's not. And then it's yeah. I don't know. I don't know, but we gonna find out. Let's continue. Again, I have yet to hear the structure, the boundaries, and the respect. I have yet to hear it.
So probably about like 3 months after I really understood the full spectrum of what I was getting involved in.
How did you feel about Nick being the father of your kid?
I felt comfortable. I felt safe. And a lot of people, I don't blame them for thinking, oh, it's money. But that's not at all what this connection was built off of. And when somebody can really make you feel free and safe and protected, you don't really focus in on what's in your pockets. You focus in on, okay, this person, I can see myself co-parenting or sharing life and creating life with this person because they make me feel the best version of myself that I can possibly feel.
I think that a comfort too also has to come from financial security to some extent, which is not a bad thing. We are drawn to people who we know can provide for us during a very vulnerable time and provide for our very vulnerable children.
Yeah. I mean, the last relationship I was in that I was monogamous for 5 years in, he wasn't financially stable at all, but he was rich in other things. And I think that that's what goes over our head is, okay, so this man might not be rich, but he was rich in love and rich in ambition and his plans and his goals. And I kind of took that more so as currency than.
Now, you guys, I'm trying to get through this respectfully. I really am. I really am. Now, she know damn well if this man was broke, she would be having his 6th child. No woman should. No woman should. Why would you have a baby? Why would you have twins by a man and he broke? And then his 6th child at that. 6 children at that. Come on. Money is definitely part of it. And if it's not, you a fool to say that. Because you know damn well it is. You know it is. Why would you be out here having a baby by a man with 4 kids already and he broke? That don't make sense. That don't make sense at all. So it's like, come on. Like, if you're going to do an interview like this, don't be disingenuous. Like, it because it lacks common sense. And people are really trying to understand you from a real place. Some of us. So it don't make sense, y'all. Like, why would you have a baby by a man that's broke? Why would any woman have a baby by a man that's broke? Why would any woman give a man that's broke a legacy? He can't take care of the kid. So money plays a major role in relationships, especially with kids, y'all. That just makes sense. Logical sense. You need money in order to be in this world and survive. So that don't make sense. It is definitely about that money because I don't see how else she would benefit.
okay, yeah, yes, this is Nick Cannon and he has everything he wants at his fingertips. But at the same time, what's your heart like? What's your character like? What is it that I'm going to see build future leadership qualities for our...
Two things can be right at the same time. He can have a nice heart and be paid. Because a man can have a nice heart and be broke. It's not a good idea to have his kids. It's just not. I tell girls all the time, stop having sex with men that are broke. Because as soon as you have a baby, as soon as you pop out a broke man's baby, guess who all the responsibility falls on? Guess who's going to the WIC to get them benefits? You are. Guess who has to get on Medicaid? Guess who has to go and get food stamps? You got it. All of that falls on your shoulders. So as soon as you decide to lay down with a broke man, understand what you're getting yourself into as a woman. You just don't do that. You playing yourself as soon as you lay up and get pregnant by a man that's broke. It just doesn't make sense. So let's keep it real. Like, y'all, we live in America. Kids cost. I think I saw an article that said it costs around $300,000 to raise a kid on average. So why would you have a baby by a broke man? It doesn't make you a gold digger. It makes you a woman that plans for her future and thinks about her children, if you're going to have them. So that doesn't make sense to me. Like, money matters. I'm tired of people tiptoeing around money like it don't matter. It freaking matters. And money is a resource. So I don't want my kids to go to any daycare. I want them to go to a daycare where they're going to be taken care of, because every time I'm looking at the news or I'm reading some article, there's a child being abused at a daycare. So I'm not going to have a kid by a broke man, because I don't want my kid going to just any old daycare. We're not about to sit up here and make it seem like money is not important. It is.
our potential child or children, you know? But
what was your "what are people going to say" voice saying?
Oh shit. That's what it is. It really was. It really was an oh shit moment. I don't think I understood the capacity of it until,
because I don't even think about the people, more so like the people you care about, the people in your family, your best friend, like the fact that at the time, then in theory, this would have been his 5th kid.
Yes.
So there's already going to be a certain judgment on being the baby mother for that person.
Yeah. Well, I'm really blessed to have a really, really supportive family. I think my mom and dad, my sister, my brother, all of them were just like, as long as you're happy, just because they've seen me in such a toxic relationship and in a toxic space, that they thought, as long as you're happy and this is healthy, most importantly, because we've seen you at your lowest of lows and we're seeing this new change in you, then we're for it. My family was never.
And were you guys private before that? Like,
oh yeah, very private. I remember even when I put out that I was pregnant, the world still didn't know about who was my children's father or who I was involved with, and I had never let it be known. And then this one Valentine's Day just opened up the can of worms for everybody. Me, another woman in it, two other women in his life, all got sent the same balloons, the same flowers, the same everything. And, I'm thinking this is sweet. This is my first pregnant Valentine's Day. And then I open my phone to, it's pandemonium. It's crazy.
Oh, because you posted it.
Yes, I posted it. So I didn't know that others were posting at the same time or what they were posting. I didn't even know one of them was involved at the time with Nick. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is so sweet. Nope.
Was any of that news to you?
No. I mean, anybody who's involved with Nick, I think that's great. That's beautiful. That's his world. That's not my world. And
the girl keep leaving me speechless, y'all. I just, what you mean? You sharing your body with this man and you talking about you didn't know about another girl? If this is what non-traditional style relationships are like, I count me out. Like, that's crazy, you guys. I feel like even if you are in a non-traditional style relationship, a man should have open communication with you. And if the relationship is freeing as you claim, he shouldn't even be afraid to have a conversation with you about him dealing with a new girl. And really the conversation should go like, you know what, I ended up dealing with a new girl and I just wanted to let you know, just so you're not blindsided. And also, here's her test results, or here are my recent updated test results. Something. Like I said, this is dangerous. I don't see how women are benefiting from this relationship dynamic. I don't. Like, I'm sure it was hurtful for her, and especially with them pregnancy hormones, for her first Valentine's Day to go like that and for it to be so messy. And he couldn't even give her a simple heads up. Again, how are you feeling safe with a man like that? Emotionally safe. He's leaving you out here in social media land, and he's just leaving you out here, and he's throwing you to the wolves just like that. And you taking it. You taking it. Like, you guys, if you're in an open, it doesn't matter. If you're in an open relationship, y'all should be getting tested regularly, and y'all should be sharing, because the relationship is non-traditional. Y'all should have that open communication, like you guys are best friends, about whatever new partner you may be sexually entertaining. I don't know.
But I find it fun, to be honest. Like, oh, look, they're involved with baby daddy too. That's sweet. Like, I love it. But I think it was the same balloons and all that. It's like, come on.
Oh, so
you could have sent us different. Yeah, like you could have sent us different color balloons or different floral arrangements. And I remember sitting Nick down and being like, we gotta talk. Like, we gotta really put names and categories of like what color balloons they're gonna like, what flowers are best for who, what would wear. And he thinks I'm just funny whenever I say that, but I really mean it. I'm really just trying to prevent these crazy situations from happening and having the world just attack us like crazy. And I know people are like, how do you find trust in an open relationship? It's real easy. It's real easy. You just have to understand, like, to get out of the same old mundane thinking of monogamy and that I need to own a person and be with a person 24/7 and this, and find beauty.
I gotta breathe, y'all. I gotta breathe. How do I say this respectfully? See, to the women, don't share your relationship to us. Don't share it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. Girl, you are talking about how you don't want to have this outlook on being in a monogamous relationship and having this mundane way of being in a relationship. But you're being owned. You are aware of that, right? Like, she is aware of that. Because like I said, she can't go out here and sleep with somebody else. She can't go out here and rack up as many partners as Nick has. She can't, and she knows that. So if you're truly in this non-traditional style relationship, why do you have to be monogamous? Why do you have to be owned? Again, how do women benefit from this relationship dynamic? You are being owned. And I think she needs to hear that. Like, you are being owned. He is not. You don't have any pull when it comes to Nick, but he got all the pull in the world when it comes to you. Like, you have to sit him down and have a conversation about how you shouldn't be getting the same floral arrangements as other women. But it's like, that should be a conversation. He should already know that, out of respect. This is crazy, you guys. This is crazy. This is crazy. No, people don't want me to interview, because I'm gonna ask the questions that everybody want to know, because this don't make no sense to me at all.
beauty within yourself and the connection that you build with somebody. And I trust the connection that I have with Nick.
The recipe for trust is consistency plus time. And so if someone is consistently honest with you upfront, consistently clear, they meet their expectations. When they are yeses are yeses, that's a yes. When they're no's are no's, it's a no. You can like rest assured on that. And when you experience that over time, you can develop trust. Trust has nothing to do with monogamy or non-monogamy.
Now, don't get me wrong, we're all humans. So Nick is not perfect, because there's times where he's been a little hesitant with being completely honest. And I think that that's something that everybody wants to go in and say like, oh, there was honesty. Sometimes there's not. And you are really left in the dust of finding out things on your own or through fake social media accounts.
What's going through your head, and how does your relationship dynamic change during?
Y'all, she can't trust this man. She can't. And to any woman that's out here, you're not safe with a man that you can't trust. Period. Nothing else to talk about. You feeling safe is delusion. It's an illusion. He has manipulated you and made you believe that you're safe. How can you be safe with someone you cannot trust 1,000%? That's common sense. You got to find out stuff from fake accounts. And I'm pretty sure she don't want to be in this long term, because she don't know what's next. She can't trust him. He's not honest and forthcoming. How can you be safe with a man you can't trust? And Shan, back to the beginning of this video, right? You were asking women, not to be judgmental. I'm constantly talking about on my platform how women need to use their judgment. They need to use their discernment. Now, do I tell women that they should bash this woman over their head with their opinion? No. But when it comes to situations like this, women do need to use their judgment. And if she would have had, and I don't care if you get mad, if she would have had better judgment, she wouldn't be in no situation like this. And it's not about it being non-traditional. She could be in a non-traditional relationship that actually has structure with a man that she can trust. Not a circus. And this man can go out here swinging that thing any which way. And then she not even know about it. And then he gonna come back and lay up with her. That's not safe. I think women should use their judgment and their discernment so that they don't end up in circus like this. So I don't get that. Like, come on. This needs course correction, period. We are not about to sit up here and create another stupid relationship dynamic and make it seem like it's goals, because it's not. Again, how do women benefit from this relationship dynamic? I haven't heard a benefit yet. So she can't fully trust him, which means she's not 100% safe with him, because he can have partners that she don't know about. And then one thing about STDs, they don't always show up just because you got some blood work done. Sometimes they show up after the fact. So, y'all, this is messy. People are not using condoms. He's not using condoms. How can you feel safe with someone like this? How? Again, how do women benefit from this relationship dynamic? This is crazy. This is crazy to me.
During that time while you're pregnant and experiencing all of these opinions from the world.
Shutdown. Complete shutdown. I didn't know how to maneuver through it. I didn't know how to be guided through it. It was only because of my support system, which is, when I say my support system, it's always going to be my sister off top. It wasn't because
sister's here, right?
She is here. She's behind the camera. She's here. She is my support system, but she was the one that was really like, we got to refocus you. We have to really find some silver lining in this for you, because I was devastated. I mean, I've never been hit with thousands of people just telling me their hate for me or what they feel.
Why were they mad at you? Is it because he had a primary partner who was public? A partner that was public, and then you looked like the mistress? Why were they mad?
I think he had several partners at the time, but I feel like just his track record of relationships at the time had maybe been a little bit more intensified. I mean, he had a lover over here that, you know, they were going strong and they've been involved for years. And then he had another beautiful family over here that he has. And then he has his ex-wife who's the queen of all queens. So people feel so invested, you know.
So did they view you as a homewrecker?
Yes.
Who helped you?
My sister.
Your sister?
Yeah, my sister. And
Ooh-wee. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. And she feels safe with this man. How? No, y'all. I don't recommend this at all. I don't promote this type of no. Listen, there are Muslim women out here that are in non-traditional style relationships. And even Muslim women are struggling with these men maneuvering in these polygamy style relationships in a respectable and healthy way. This is not a non-traditional relationship. This is a man doing whatever he wants to do, and women just going along with it, being strung along. You can't even go to this man for support. You got to go to your sister, but y'all in a relationship and you're monogamous. He's your primary partner. It doesn't make sense, you guys. Like it doesn't make sense. You got to go to your sister. You got to have a whole support system that doesn't include this man. It got to be your sister. I don't recommend this. And I can guarantee you if any Muslim woman is in the chat, can you please educate women on what it truly means to be in a polygamy style or something polyamorous style? I mean, this is not what that is. Like this is full on dictatorship. Because that's not what this is. And y'all, I want women to understand that if you do choose the non-traditional route, which I don't see anything wrong with that. My only thing is I do believe women should benefit from the relationship style. And the way women benefit from it is you guys have open communication when it comes to your relationship style. You should not be out here. Y'all are killing me with these names. You should not be out here just being in a non-traditional style relationship where your partner cannot communicate with you. There shouldn't be anything to hide though, because he should be able to be open with you. I mean, y'all not monogamous. I mean, the whole reason men don't want to be in monogamous style relationships is because they want to be able to do what they want to do without women tripping. Okay, so women are agreeing to non-traditional style relationships. Why are they still not communicating honestly? I don't get that. Yeah, and a lot of women, a lot of Muslim women are kind of backing away from the relationship style and dynamic because of how these men are practicing it. They're practicing it similar to Nick, which is messy and dangerous because it makes women be put in a position where they could either catch something, get something, or their children are not really being taken care of correctly. Yes, like polygamy was meant to help women, not hurt women. And I feel like the way that this relationship style is being practiced, it's really it's not only hurting the women, it's hurting the children as well. I don't see how the children are receiving any emotional stability. I don't. And when it comes to being a parent, I feel like that's part of it. You know, kids they have a soul, they have feelings, they have emotions that need to be nurtured. And I don't see how he can do that. And he has like ghetto quadruplets. So I don't see how he can be in 5 places at once. I just don't see that, y'all. And when it comes to raising kids, they have to be nurtured emotionally. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is a mess. I don't even feel like she's being taken care of emotionally. She has to use her sister for emotional support. So this is the thing, y'all, and ladies, please listen up. If you got to use your sister for emotional support, who do your kids get to use? Who do your kids get to use? They gonna use your sister as well?
Was Nick able to prepare you, given the fact that he had obviously grown up around this, and then two had other partners who had gone through this?
Yeah, no. I don't think that's his responsibility to either, to be very honest. I think he could do so much, and he could tell you, like, Nick is a very positive person. So he's going to tell you, oh, just let it, it's just all hate. It's just all people who don't refuse to understand. And it's easy for somebody who has navigated in the capacity in which he's navigated in for years and years. And the level in which he's handled it has been a level that I hope I never have to reach either. So I understand where his positivity was, but sometimes that positivity, is just toxic as well. Like I need some direction at this point. I need some reality checks in this point. And I was able to get it, thank God, through my sister. But yeah.
So what does it feel like to have all these people telling you what your experience is, what your reality is?
I used to find it so disheartening and just so at times it would make me feel sad. Like how I'm trying to tell you guys I'm happy, but people want to, I don't know. I'm now understanding what people are saying. It's sometimes really just a projection of what they're going through and what they're experiencing on their own. So I'm sorry you have to mask that you're happy when you're really miserable, because whether I'm laughing and being joyous, people find that to be me hiding, me really being so devastated, me being pressed, or it's like a catch-22. Like it's a lose-lose, but at the same time I'm winning because I'm stating my truth and I'm living in my truth. But to have everybody think that there's negativity behind my truth.
It's funny because the ultimate form of intelligence
Did she not just spend the last 3 minutes expressing the negativity behind her truth? She had to go to her sister. She couldn't even get the support. She was saying Nick is too overly, he has that toxic positivity, which is manipulation, which if you missed my video about the hotel, yeah, toxic positivity, that's manipulation as well. Like I said, I'm here to course correct because this is off the rails, y'all. Course correct. So no, like I think you can be happy, but you can also be disappointed. I feel like you can be happy and wish that you would have done things differently. I think you can be happy and grow from experiences and wish you would have done things differently. Two things can be right at the same time. Two things can be right at the same time. You don't have to be miserable and have regret. You can be happy and still have regret. You can be happy and wish you would have took a different path. It's not always one or the other. You can be happy and wish you would have practiced this non-traditional style relationship with a man that communicates better. So you're not out here finding out on Valentine's Day that he got all these other lovers that you don't know nothing about. Two things can be right at the same time. You can not want to be in a monogamous style relationship, right? And still feel like the relationship style that you're in right now is not working for you. Two things can be right at the same time. Two things. So again, how do women benefit from this relationship dynamic?
my husband always says this, is to be able to hold two competing truths at once. And we were having this discussion actually about him not being here for the birth. And I was like, on one hand, I am so happy for you. I'm thrilled and I'm grateful you're getting this opportunity. On the other hand, I'm terrified and I'm pissed and I'm resentful. And both of these truths exist at the exact same time. And one doesn't negate the other.
Yes.
And so what are the two truths of your lifestyle? Because on one hand, it's joyful and it's happy and you consented and you chose this every step of the way. What's the other competing truth that's like, this is the shitty part that doesn't infringe on this, but yes.
No, you guys, I think she is happy. I do. I think she is happy. I don't think she's faking her happiness. I think she is happy. I do. I've been in a toxic relationship and I was happy. When you're in a relationship, when you're in a toxic relationship, you don't see things clearly. So when you're in that toxic relationship, a lot of times women are happy. They are. So again, two things can be right at the same time. I do believe she's happy. She's a new mom. She has twins. So I'm sure like there's this catch-22. You know, there's this double-edged sword, you know, and I think her opening up and sometimes speaking your truth out loud, you unpack certain things within yourself. And I think she's unpacking that as she's speaking right now. So no, I think she is happy. I do. But a lot of times when we're in these toxic relationships and our family can clearly see that you are in a toxic relationship. Your girlfriends can clearly see that you're in a toxic relationship, but you happy. And so your family, your friends, they're going to support you because they love you. So I think this is kind of like a similar situation. I do believe that she believes that she is happy. And so if that's what she's saying, I mean, if this was your friend and you saw her or a sister or aunt or even your own mother, right? And you can tell that she's in a toxic relationship and you go to her and you're like, Mom, are you happy with your situation? Or you ask your sister or your aunt, are you really happy with your situation? And they say, oh, I'm happy. You need to take what they're saying and keep it pushing and support them if you love them. So I think she is happy, but from the outside looking in, I personally, this is my opinion, I don't see how. I don't see how. But if she's happy, she's happy. Believe her when she says she's happy. But this can change.
These are where the challenges lie.
That there's more life after this. Like there's more, that this isn't my forever.
What does that mean? Does that mean you're happy in this lifestyle, this arrangement right now? You're pregnant with this person's kid right now, but ultimately this is not your happily ever after?
Yes. Yes.
What about this scenario and arrangement doesn't feel like it would be conducive to your best future self?
That's a good question.
It's an easy question. You have the answer ready to go, but you're like, how do I word this?
Yes, I'm trying to find the right words to answer that.
Because you know what? I had this conversation actually recently with a friend of mine who just got out of a relationship, and it was a really difficult place that she was in, where it was like, I ended the relationship and I'm really happy about it. I love what we had. I know going forward it's not what I want, but I'm really happy. You can be somewhere and be completely content and see this as a stepping stone without that meaning that this is miserable and unhappy.
Yeah.
So I'm uplifting your, in that of being like, yeah, right now I am so happy here, but I have a vision for myself and I can see why this wouldn't fit that.
How open this is, like, on his end. I want to be able to have an open relationship and be happy the way that I am now with my next partner, but I can't. We're going on several kids now. I want to be able to have a conjoined family with somebody else who has kids, or another person who really will understand my type of lifestyle, because it's not easy coming into this. But oh my God, I feel like I need to answer that question better. Sorry, Shan, I'm really just thinking about this. So
you want a sister hug moment?
No. I'm just so nervous because I've had these conversations with him, but he thinks it's like a joke that I'm really in this forever. And I'm like, no, I just see myself, to answer your question, I think I see monogamy for myself down the line, and this won't get me there. but I love where I'm at this very moment.
What y'all got me watching, y'all? What y'all got me watching? This girl is confused. This man done mess up her mind. I don't care what nobody say. She said that the relationship that she's in is not gonna, or her relationship dynamic that she's in currently is not gonna lead her to ultimately the monogamous style relationship that she sees herself in. Did she not just say that? I gotta rewind it, y'all. So don't be mad at me because I need to hear her clearly with this. I'm confused too. And I think it's because she's confused.
I want to be able to have an open relationship and be happy the way that I am now with my next partner, but I can't. We're going on several kids now. I want to be able to have a conjoined family with somebody else who has kids or another person who really will understand my type of lifestyle, because it's not easy coming into this. But oh my God, I feel like I need to answer that question better. Sorry, Shannon. I'm really just thinking about this. So
Do you want a sister hug moment?
No. I'm just so nervous because I've had these conversations with him, but but he thinks it's like a joke that I'm really in this forever. And I'm like, no, I just see myself, to answer your question, I think I see monogamy for myself down the line.
She says that she sees monogamy for herself down the line. I told this, y'all, this girl is confused. This man done got in her head and she's confused. And what did I tell you guys about men and manipulation? I literally, if you watch the video, I left it up all weekend from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, I said the 7 type of men you need to avoid. That was the title of the video. 7 type of men that you need to avoid and their manipulation tactics and why. When a man is in your life and he is bringing confusion, he has manipulated you or he is manipulating you. Because this girl ain't making no sense at all. She not making no sense. Now, when she started this interview, she said that she got into this relationship dynamic because it was freeing and it was non-traditional. She said she did the monogamous style relationship for 5 years. She was submissive. She was all of that with a broke man that didn't have no money. Now that she bumped into Nick and she has agreed to this non-traditional style relationship. She's seeing how messy it is, and she doesn't see that it will be long-term for her. But she thought ahead long and far enough to where she ensured that she got pregnant with a 3rd child by this man because she wants her kids to have the same father. But she does not see herself in this relationship long-term because she said that he has 9 kids now. And she didn't sign up for a circus. So, y'all, I'm telling you, when you get into these relationships with these men with money, they feel like they own you. They feel like they own you and they feel like you are going to be at their beck and call. And that's why he was saying, oh, like whenever I have this conversation with Nick, he laughs. He thinks I'm joking. Because he feels you're not going nowhere. No, it's not about you guys. You got to understand that when men put a baby in you, when a man puts a baby in you, he's not just putting a baby in you. He's not. It's called trap. It's called trapping you so you don't go nowhere. And that's why he feels like, oh, you joking, like you talking about this is not going to be long term. No, he wants it to be long term. He does. That's why he impregnated her. That's why he keeps impregnating these women. So then when he get tired of one woman, he bounce to another one. Or he'll bounce to a new girl and then bounce back to another old girl. He trapped her intentionally because he wanted to have some type of access to her for the rest of her life. And so that's why he feels like she was joking. That's why he feels like she was joking when she said, I don't want to do this long term. Well, I'm sorry, sis, but you popping out his kids, he feels like now he's always going to have access to you, no matter what. That's how these men are. It's a trap. That's why I'm saying when it comes to your womb, stop having these men's kids. They are going to trap you when they feel like they can't control you. And that's the thing. Before she got pregnant, she was free. She was free and she was able to come and go as she pleases. Now, all of a sudden, that she got pregnant and she has kids with this man, she's not as free as she was. Stop having these men's kids. Stop doing that. It's all about control. It's not about legacy. It's not about love. It's not about creating a family. It is about control. And he wants access to you forever. And so the only way he can do that, because he don't want to marry you, sorry, he ain't into that. He's going to trap you with a baby. And I just want to know when women are going to start moving differently, because we've seen it once, we've seen it all. It's not worth it. He's literally trapping these women so they can't go nowhere.
And this won't get me there. But I love where I'm at this very moment, but it's not my forever.
What about your existence informed truth for you? What are you not getting now that you know ultimately you really want?
I don't think any relationship has it all, to be very honest. And I think that it's a constant work in progress. Your needs aren't always going to be met. Sometimes the respect isn't always there. Sometimes you feel lack of love. I just know deep within my heart of hearts, because I do get so much. I get companionship. I get the fun out of it. I get the sexual satisfaction. I get the emotional satisfaction. But I just know in my heart of hearts that this isn't my forever person.
You know why I know it's not your forever without any more information? Because I talk to people a lot about this. And it's always interesting how they can describe one relationship with someone so concretely positive. Because your relationship is with your sister. You know, she's here right now. It's not perfect. She lets you down sometimes, but there's nothing in you that feels need to caveat with that.
Yeah.
So we know what it's like when we are in a union that deeply uplifts us and meets the needs based on that connection.
Yes.
And when we're in one that we're like, are there elements? Yes. But there are a lot of other elements that I know are possible for me.
Yes. And I think that's where eventually I'll get to that, to experience all those other elements. And I mean, my parents are still married of 30 something years. I grew up in a 2-parent household, but I do feel like there's so much beauty in my situation now. Again, going back to when I said, I feel like this has transformed me to a better mother, a better lover.
If someone just tuned in for this part right now, there's many babies, not many women. There's many women, but there's only 4 baby moms, right? 5. I got not good at the math.
Listen, there's many women. There's a array of women.
Cornucopia of women.
Yes.
Many children.
Many children. Beautiful children at that.
What would you say?
That being in a situation, or a polyamorous, if you absolutely need a label, in a polyamorous relationship doesn't mean you have a low self-esteem or low self-worth.
So if you were to make a declaration about how you want people to reflect or respond on your life, or even why you chose to be here, what boundaries do you want to put in place, and what leeway?
Girl, I don't know who's saying that. She is using the fact that this relationship is non-traditional as a crutch. How you allow a man to treat you determines your self-esteem and your self-worth, and how you view that. And the way Nick is treating y'all, it don't seem like y'all have high self-esteem. It don't have nothing to do with the non-traditional relationship. There are plenty of Muslim women in history and currently that are in these type of relationships, and they are being respected. Y'all are not. You're not. Y'all are not being respected. And that's why you don't see this relationship as long-term, because I don't know no woman that would leave a relationship where all of her needs are being met. So stop using this oh, I'm in a non-traditional style relationship. That means, no, you're in a relationship with a man that don't respect you and he treats you like you're disposable. Let's be real here. He treats all the women that he deals with as disposable. And when he get bored, when he get tired, when he's tired of the mundane, and that's another thing, you keep saying the mundane, that must be him. That must be all Nick, because when it comes to you, you're a part of the mundane. You're monogamous. He is not. And that's how I know this is manipulation. This is nothing but manipulation, to the point where it don't even make sense. We're digesting this interview and it does not make sense at all. At all. So, and then you kind of are in a traditional relationship, because on your part, it is monogamous, but Nick is not. And this is all about him. This is all about him.
Ways you want to say, here's where I'm welcoming your feedback.
That's where I'm trying to find the perfect balance for myself, just because I'm new to being a mom, but I'm not new to this media world. And I used to tease clickbaits, and now I become a clickbait. So it's wild to see the way that the tables have turned, but I become hypersensitive when people attack me and my motherhood.
Talk your shit right now, Abby. Tell people where you want them to back up.
Just when it comes to me being a mom, I don't even think I scratched the surface. I might show us at a class or two, but me being open in my relationship does not change or take away from the type of mother that I am to my kids, and the wholeness that I am to them, and the strength that I share with them. And I'm excited for my kids to grow up and be like, Mom and Dad, y'all did it your way. And I love that. And I hope my kids could eventually do it their way, whatever that may be, in whatever capacity that is, to do it their way.
And as adults, we have a responsibility to ensure that we're not raising broken children that become broken adults, and then they go out here and they traumatize the rest of us. It is scientifically proven that when a father is not in the home, kids tend to have behavioral issues. We're not about to skip over that, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tired of bumping into broken adults. I'm tired. Insecure adults struggling with abandonment issues, emotional neglect, PTSD. I'm tired of bumping into just broken adults. So as parents, we have a responsibility to not raise broken children that will one day become broken adults. It is our job to raise children in a healthy environment, in a healthy relationship dynamic. And that may be co-parenting, that may be in a non-traditional style relationship, but it's balanced though. So that we're not out here raising broken children that will become broken adults, because it's ruining the collective. It's ruining us in marriage. That's why nobody really getting married and staying married like that. So when it comes to these relationships, it affects children. It does. So people are questioning your motherhood. They are, because we are concerned. Like anybody would be concerned looking from the outside in. And then it's like, what example are you setting for, if you're pregnant right now with a daughter, what would you tell her? Because it's not about doing it non-traditionally. It's about doing it in a way that's truly healthy and beneficial for all parties involved, including the children who will one day grow up to be adults with feelings and emotions. And that's why there's so many adults walking around and they don't know how to deal with themselves. They don't even know how to soothe themselves. They don't even know how to sit with themselves. So it does not make sense. And I think the public questioning the parenting going on here, I think it's rightfully so. And the reason is because teachers got to deal with the community has to deal with your children. The community. I see women on TikTok every day, teachers complaining every day about how kids are behaving in the classroom setting. And again, when children are not brought up in a home with a father figure, physically present every day, they have behavioral issues. There is a cycle here and it needs to be broken. And I don't feel like it's going to be broken with these relationship dynamics that are not balanced, they're not structured, they're not healthy. It don't got nothing to do with tradition. It has everything to do with balance, structure, boundaries, and health. And I just don't see none of that taking place here within this non-traditional style relationship. And I think that's fair to say. Because now, if your kids have behavioral issues, guess who's going to be dealing with that? Teachers, the community, police officers, firefighters, therapists, friends, church go, like everybody's gonna be dealing with your kid. So I think the concern, it goes back to the saying, oh, it takes a village to raise a child. So the village is currently concerned. And I think that's fair.
Not the way that the world wants them to do, not to read every textbook out there, but to do it their way, the way that mom and dad did. And I would just want people to stay the fuck away from my motherhood. That's it. That's it. Period. Everything else y'all could dabble in because I love it. But my motherhood, that's something I don't play with. Yeah. Throw it.
Huge shout out to Abby De La Rosa for coming through and dropping her truth like it's hot, knowing that many listeners will think that it's not. I also really want to lean into the last thing that Abby said, which is back up from her motherhood. And instead, I want to give a call to action for those of us listening in this community who come from a compassionate place to lean into her motherhood right now. I'm about to give you Abby's Instagram, which is instagram.com/hi Abby De La Rosa. And if you follow her, I think she's private, I'm not quite sure. But if you follow her and she accepts you and you have an opportunity to say something loving and kind about her as a mom. Now, I can't speak for her because we didn't talk about this, but as a new mom, it is such an insecure place. And people's commentary, even though they're so far removed from your reality, can still get to you because that's how much you care about this job. And that's how unsure you are that you're doing a great job. So it's just always nice to take a moment, if you have it, to just let a mom know, like, hey, you're killing it. You're rocking it. Your kids are lucky to have you. And Abby, you're killing it. You are rocking it. Your children are so, so, so lucky to have you. And if you want to invest further in Abby and her story, she also has an OnlyFans account where she shares parts of her life that she doesn't show online and answers questions a lot more directly. And that is onlyfans.com/Abby De La Rosa. All right, so for the final segment of this podcast, as you know, this is the reflective third piece where I model the kinds of conversations that I hope you have with your friends based on these episodes. And so I brought in one of my dearest LA friends, who is also my hairstylist, Kenya Alexander.
I'm also an actor.
And I also brought in a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Hi, I'm Mayana Gethers. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm a feminist therapist. I'm co-founder of the feminist therapy group Practice Bridges to Healing, located in Long Beach, California. I am also a writer and creator of original guided meditations. All of my meditations are streaming on all major streaming platforms, YouTube and Insight Timer.
And together, we discussed the concept of Believe Women. So let's get into it. And I thought about you for this, Ken, because when I met you, you were engaged. Mm-hmm. And I viewed you guys as the perfect couple.
Strange.
Well, because you guys are both in the same industry. You looked great together. I saw you at Jared's show together. You guys were all loved up on each other. And it was a shell shock to me when the two of you guys broke up. So I wondered if you sort of related to that. Like, hey, it might have appeared one way from the outside, but within it was very different.
1,000%. I look back on that relationship. I learned so much about love. I learned so much about myself, about how I am in a relationship, about what I didn't bring to that relationship. But I also know I was deeply miserable in that relationship. And I tried for a long time to not be miserable. Yeah. And I didn't tell anyone I was miserable until it was like towards the very end. But when we did break up, so many of my loved ones and like the closest people to me, we weren't very close yet, Shan, but like so many people who I know and know me were like, Ken, like, I didn't want to say anything, but I knew it wasn't going to work. Yeah. I knew that, but they were there for me and supporting me. And because I said I was happy, they were happy to have me say I was happy, I guess. Right. And so all I could express to them after was like, please, if you see that again, if you see the signs and I'm not seeing it, let me know. But then also I get.
Can we not be transphobic in the comics, you guys? And then we got to stop labeling women trans without knowing. Okay, let's be respectful. Okay. Yeah, I can relate to this girl that's talking. When I was in a relationship clinically diagnosed by my therapist with a narcissist, yeah, like I felt like I thought I was happy, and I thought that the relationship that I was in, like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to go. And it was just so untrue. And it was because I was in a relationship unhealed from my childhood trauma, from my teenage trauma. And so because of that, I thought I knew what love was, but I didn't. So a lot of times we find ourselves in relationships with people that are truly not good for us because we are unhealed. And you can always tell when you're in a relationship that is not a healing relationship because of the type of man that you're in a relationship with. And if Nick needs all of these women to a point where he can't even come to you and openly communicate with you about his other partners, I don't feel like that relationship is healthy. And I don't think that you're in a relationship with a man that's not toxic. Do not date when you are unhealed. You will find yourself in the worst of situations with men and just relationships in general. I don't advise that at all. And when I was going through my intensive therapy, my therapist told me not to date. She said that is the worst thing you can do. And so I did therapy for 2.5 years and stopped dating. Completely just stopped. Went cold turkey. Started working on myself, started healing, and started addressing, many issues that I had, like people pleasing, overgiving, overextending, wanting to, getting over the habit of not wanting to disappoint, staying in situations too long that don't serve me, not speaking up for myself, not voicing how I truly feel when it comes to relationship dynamics. And that, unfortunately, just did not stop with men. It extended over to friends as well and family. So it is a journey, you guys, and I understand that we all unpack things at different times and we all have a different timeline. But if you know that you have trauma from your childhood that you have not addressed, the worst thing you can ever do is date. You're just going to attract whoever is on your vibrational frequency, which typically are toxic people.
Why people mind their business.
Right.
So it's just like, I don't know. It's hard.
You would have wanted people to.
I would have wanted people to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I would have taken it. I can't say it would have been positive every time. I can't say that I wouldn't have cried. I can't say, but I would have appreciated it, I think, more than the silence and the just going with it. Because literally everybody was like, girl, I knew it.
Because I have been in both situations. I'm in a relationship now that, because of our dynamic being a bit more free, a lot of people naturally assume that I'm not happy, but it's like the complete opposite. It's the craziest thing. And oh my God,
really?
I'm on the internet, baby. Yes.
That's crazy.
So many people, I'll see in the comments. I mean, less and less as time goes on, because, when we first came out, it was 90%.
Horrible, right.
And then
I'm sorry, but I don't think Shan's marriage dynamic is anywhere close near comparable to this relationship dynamic with Abby. I'm sorry. Her husband ain't out here spreading his seeds all over the place. He may be out here flirting and dating other women on the side, because I've been very much aware of the fact that their marriage is open. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. But he respects you at the same time, Shan. He's not out here running around on you, spreading his seed everywhere. He's considering your feelings, your children's feelings, and that dynamic as a whole, which makes you a very strong family unit in my eyes, because you have open, free communication between the two of you guys, and it works. Oh, it's not open anymore? Well, their relationship works. And then that's another thing. I wonder why they closed their relationship. Did she ever make a video about that? I must have missed that one. Yeah, like her husband emotionally supports her. That is not comparable at all. It's just not. And he's hands-on. So I don't know. That man is not hands-on. But let me hurry up, because I got another clip I have to show you guys.
Right.
time proves. And our commentary all along has been just stay tuned.
Right.
If you think we're going to crash and burn, just stay tuned.
Watch.
Right.
Watch and see.
Just watch. And it's so fascinating to be like, wow, this is actually the one area that I feel completely confident. If you want to attack me, come for my credit. Like there are so many areas in my life that I don't feel secure in.
Right.
However, my previous relationship was somewhat public before I was actually, a public figure, an individual in the world. And I was deeply miserable. Deeply, sadly, I lived with this person. I remember thinking at one point, man, there is not one piece of carpet or hardwood floor that has not seen my tears in this place that we live together. And I told everybody I was happy, and I tried to project happiness so much. And so I was like, I get why people would have these second guesses, because what was the difference in terms of how I was portraying these relationships, even though my reality was so different within them. So Ken, I know you to have a very diverse love life. Do you know what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah.
Because you're in a lot of different relational dynamics, not all of them. Many of them, the goal is not forever.
Yes.
They're like, oh, this is what this person is for now. Or you're testing out different priorities in relationships. I've seen you test out priorities of like, there is attraction, but not necessarily camaraderie or companionship. And then some where you're like, it's all companionship, but attraction's not there. And so as somebody who is going through that, which I think is kind of what Abby's in, how do you want people to respond, especially friends?
That has been a tricky space for me to navigate in. After my last relationship, I took a stand back from like letting people know like who I was talking to and why I was talking to them. I think I was open with you and Kevin about it because we were just around each other all the time. And you would ask, like, you are one of my friends who like literally sits down and asks me questions. I want my friends to just be excited and supportive of all the things that I'm doing. I do have some friends who hold me to a higher standard than I can sometimes live up to. And sometimes that disappoints me. But for the most part, I just want everyone to be supportive. Like, okay, you talking to that one because of this? All right, girl, cool. That one because of this? All right, I love it. How is he treating you? Great, you're happy? Okay, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Because that is what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure out all of the pieces that make me happy. Hopefully, my overall goal, I guess, like Abby, is to be in a monogamous relationship. And so until I do, I'm just going to have little things here and there.
What's the difference between the version of you now that's like, no, when I say that I'm happy, believe me, and the version of you in your last relationship that was like, hey, even if I say I'm happy, if you see something, question me.
I'm just a lot more confident in myself. So I know I'm older. I've had more experience. I feel like my relationships reflect that. Like I've become a lot more close with my friends. I've become a lot more open with my friends because I was insecure before. I would just not say a lot of things. And because I'm becoming more open, I think that my loved ones can see that.
That gives me an aha too, because I think about that being a big difference for me in that at the time that I was in this negative relationship but trying to portray it positively, that was everything in my life. Like I always think about that game from Sesame Street, like one of these things doesn't belong and you got to pick it out.
3 of these things are kind of the same, but one of these things just doesn't belong here.
And it wasn't like my negative relationship didn't belong. It actually was perfectly
in the rest of your life, right? Because everything was kind of like
everything.
Yeah.
I have a question, you guys. Do you guys want to finish this or do y'all want to move on to the little situation that happened with his recent baby mama? Because I'm thinking they're going to talk about the interview, but it don't seem like that's what they're doing. Okay, y'all want to move on? Because, yeah, I want to move on too. This is what I wanted to show you guys about his other baby mama. And like I said, this is why I don't agree with the situation. It's not because the relationship dynamic is non-traditional. I don't care about that. Like my best friend is in a non-traditional style relationship with a woman. So like, I don't care about that. Like this 2022, nobody cares. This is not the 80s or the 90s. No one cares that you're in a non-traditional style relationship anymore. But my concern when it comes to having my platform and majority of my audience are women. How do women benefit from this relationship dynamic? And I don't see how they do. So I'm going to blow this up so you guys can see it. And basically, this woman that is on TikTok, she is calling out, and it's called Preference to Baby Mama Pipeline. So this girl, she does this video. She creates these videos. She creates these videos where she calls out preferences who are becoming the new stereotype for being a baby mama. And she calls it the preference to baby mama pipeline. So let's go ahead and play this. Ooh.
So here is yet another entry for my preference to baby mama pipeline series. Nick Cannon's baby mother was on Instagram complaining that she hasn't slept in 3 days. And when somebody messaged her, like, can't you get a night nurse or can't you get somebody to help you? The baby mother asked the person who messaged her if she wanted to pay for it. So this person wrote back, tell Nick. And the baby mother got upset. I thought he had enough money to have 9 billion kids. What happened? He don't have enough money to make sure his baby mothers get some rest? What's going on, Nick? And the BM is obviously very upset. So this is what she wrote. Girl. From preference to baby mother, the pipeline continues.
Do y'all want me to read what she wrote? Because I will. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can see it here. And again, like, women keep making this about parenting, and I don't understand that. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me just close that completely. What? I didn't pull this video off the internet, so I do apologize, you guys. Let me try to get it back up. But I don't know why women think like people, I mean, maybe there are people coming for their parenting or things like that, but it's like, y'all, the math is just not mathing. It's not mathing at all. It's taking forever to pull this back up. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna just pull it up on my phone. I'm gonna read what it said on my phone. Since this thing want to be acting stupid. Okay, let me pull it up. But and then y'all, these women do it to themselves. Like, log out of social media. I don't get that. Log out of social media. Like, are people that far gone when it comes to social media to the point where you can't log out? You can log out. You can literally unplug yourself and disconnect. But she responded and she wrote, keep my parenting, my kid, and my baby daddy's name out your mouth. Y'all, these women starting to, you know what? Nick is not my sugar daddy. Nick is my effing child's father. That is all. Watch your effing mouth when you speak on mine. My name, anyone else looking for baby advice? I don't have nothing else to say. I mean, I don't have nothing else to say. Like, these women bringing this all on themselves. They want to act like they're victims in this situation because of people online, but you don't have to make your lifestyle public. You don't have to share your kids online. It's a choice. And as soon as you log in and you hit that post, you take that picture, you hit that post, you're welcoming in unwanted, unsolicited advice every single time. We are grown. People know what they're signing up for when they sign up for social media. You know, you cannot control what people say behind these screens. You should. So you should think twice about putting your business out here. And then you should think twice about who you're intertwining your lifestyle with when it comes to these men and how that may affect you to within your community. I don't have nothing else to say, you guys. I don't have nothing else to say. Real talk though, this was some bullshit. It was some bullshit. It just was. I'm glad she was able to promote her OnlyFans, but that's really the only thing that I can honestly see that she benefited from. Like, again, how do women benefit from this relationship dynamic? You telling me you having a baby by this man, he's not there with you to help you with the baby. You can't get a night nurse. You're that exhausted. So like I said, it was bullshit and I'm just not here for it. Like, this is stupidity. And I said what I said. If it makes you upset, it is what it is. I wouldn't recommend no woman in their right mind to get into any type of situation like this. You're monogamous, but he's not. He's out here having sexual relations with women that you don't know nothing about. He's coming back and dipping in your pond and you don't even know where his penis has been because you can't fully trust that man because he's not being 100% honest with you through communication when you have an open relationship dynamic. Yeah, no, I'm not for that. So on that note, you guys, if anyone in the comment section can answer my question about how this relationship dynamic benefits women, I would be on board with it, but I just don't see how it does. I don't see how it benefits women and I don't see how it benefits children. And I want a study to be conducted on this pandemic where all of these kids are being born and I don't feel like they're being properly taken care of. And we saw what that did to children when it came to the heroin, what it did to the community. We saw what it did to with crack. We saw that what it did to children. Or have we not learned nothing? Like, I'm just curious. So it's not drugs. It's just men not putting their penis or keeping their penis in one place, in one household. I don't get that. So we have seen what it can do to a community. We as millennials are dealing with the aftermath and the after effects of the heroin and the crack. So I just don't understand that. So I don't see how they're winning. I don't see how they're benefiting from that. And that's all I got on this video. My next video, I will be doing a video about Erica Banks because I'm very much irritated with that. I just haven't gotten to it, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm a little backed up. Okay. I'm going to tackle that next because that needs to be talked about. But I'm over this. This is a circus. And if these women signed up for it, they signed up for it. And I'm just not going to support it. I don't support it because I don't feel like children are being taken care of, and I can't support that. All day long, I'm out here mentoring broken adults. They were children when they got broken, and then they became adults. And I don't think people are thinking that far ahead. They're oh, I'm free, and I'm just living my life, and I'm not really thinking 5 years, 10 years ahead. You have children. It's your responsibility to think that far ahead. And if you think I'm coming for your motherhood, that's just common sense. On that note, you guys, I'm going to log out. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's night. I will be back on here for the Erica Banks conversation because I'm very much bothered by that conversation. And I told y'all how these women were out here carrying themselves. I told y'all how these women were acting. I told y'all, and y'all wanted to gaslight me and say, oh, Yoni, you don't know how to get along with other women. I don't get along with fake women. I don't get along with women that are disingenuous. I don't get along with women that really put men above their self-worth and their self-respect. I don't get along with women like that. I don't get along with women that are shallow, fake, insecure. I don't get along with women like that. Never will. So I'll be back. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's night. I just got to get my slideshow together so we can have a real conversation about it and get my thoughts together. Bye, guys.